Hi friends, my name is Bhavya Mangla. I'm IATF qualified auditor doing audit for the automotive sector for the last 18 years. I'm again back with a very interesting topic. What exactly is a turtle diagram? Well, in our day-to-day life, just think about you are planning to go on a vacation. Then we do plan many things that, okay, which place we have to go, when we have to go, what will be the mode of transport that will be there, on which day we have to go, what are the different things that will carry with us, who are the different family members or friends who are going to be there, then which are the different places which we are going to see, which hotels we are going to stay, what kind of different food that we are going to have, and there can be so many things that we discuss and we think about it. So in a way what we are doing is, we are just mapping the entire vacation process, that when we go on vacation, what are the different things that we are going to do. Exactly something similar is happening in the organization when we talk about different manufacturing process or maybe the support process. It can start from the sales process, then new product development process, production planning, purchase, production, quality, dispatch, store, any other process. So for all those things, generally when we prepare a turtle. So when we use the word process, by definition, process means it's a set of interrelated or interacting activities that uses input to deliver an intended output. In this particular video, in detail, I'm going to talk about what exactly is a turtle, why we call it as a turtle, what is its linkage with ISO and IATF standards, then whether there is a requirement to have a turtle in any of the standard, then how to make a turtle diagram, and then we'll take one example, a real example, that how we can make a turtle and identify the different processes and the different parts of it. Then what are the possible benefits of making a turtle diagram, and finally I'm going to talk about what are the challenges that industry is facing with respect to a turtle diagram. So when we talk about a turtle diagram, primarily it's a pictorial diagram which gives in detail about information about organization's inputs, outputs, the controls that are having, what are the performance indicators, what are the support processes organization is having, and what are the different resources that we need to make sure that a process that gives the complete output what is desired from that. Now the first question that comes is that why this word turtle, from where this particular word turtle has come? Well, if you look into the picture, you will find that the image, that the layout in which the different steps are coming out, that looks like a turtle with different hands and tails. That's why it's called a turtle. Then when we talk about that why it is related and how it is related with ISO standard or maybe IATF standard. So if you go through the standard, you'll find there are so many clauses where standard is talking about the process and they're talking about the inputs and outputs. Now, if you see the standard starting from clause number 4.1, which is about understanding the organization in its context, then 4.2, 4.4, 5.2 about quality policy, 6.1 about risk management, 7.2 about competence, 7.4 about communication, and there can be many more clauses where we can see that there is a reference with respect to that. Now that brings a very interesting question. If there is any requirement either from ISO 9000 or from IATF to prepare a turtle, well, the easy and the simple answer is no. There is no requirement to prepare a turtle. But it's very interesting to know that even though it is not required, but still it helps the organization to understand the requirements, to determine and manage the numerous linked activities, and to enable the transformation of input into output. Now, the next question that comes is that how to make a turtle diagram. So there are 6 key output that comes out from any turtle diagram, wherein if you see there is in center, there is a process. Now the process could be anything. It could be a production process, a quality process, a delivery process, sales process, any process. Now it will depend on the organization that whether they want to have a key process or they want to have some low-end process, depending on the organization. And then there are different things. The first thing is input. So when we talk about input, primarily we are talking about what are the things that are going into a process. Now it could be raw material, it could be manpower, it could be some drawings, specifications, standards, anything could be a part of input. The second thing is output, the output of the process. When we talk about output, primarily we are talking about the key output that are coming out from any process. Now, it can be the audit result, it can be a finished product, maybe the approved purchase order, or it could be anything else. Well, the third leg is about how. When we talk about how, we are talking about support process, procedures, and the method. So here primarily our intent is to understand that how the different processes are supporting the main process. Now, say for example, the maintenance process, the support process could be the stores process, purchase process, or the production process. Then comes next, with what? What are the different materials or the equipment that are to be used? Now here, the intent is with respect to the resources that are required for that particular manufacturing process or that particular process for which you are talking about. So for example, for our production process, it could be a CNC machine or a CMM machine for testing it, for inspection. It could be a roughness tester, or it could be anything else. Then the next leg is with whom? Means what kind of competence, skill, and the training that is being required, so that the process which is there, it can fulfill all the requirements which is expected from that. So for example, let's take an example of a qualification of internal auditor. Now it could be training related to process approach, maybe about core tools like APQP, PPAP, FMEA, SPC, MSA, etc. And then the last one, what kind of results, what are the performance indicators that we are looking for? So primarily whenever we are talking about a process, the overall objective is that whenever we are talking about a process, what are the tangible output? It can be in terms of effectiveness indicator or the efficiency indicator which are there. Now for example, if you take a sales process, the key indicators could be new customer addition, it could be the sales target achievement, maybe the increase in share of business, or it could be anything else. So let's take a real example of calibration process, and let's try to see that how we can write each and everything for all the 6 different parameters with respect to a process. Now if you see in the picture, the calibration process is in the center, and when we start from the left, let's start from the inputs. So some of the key inputs are maybe the list of instruments, calibration schedule, operating range, identification stickers, and there can be many more inputs. When we talk about the outputs, here I have specified 2 key outputs. One is the calibrated instrument and the report, if it is an external laboratory, that it should be 17025 accredited, and if it's an internal calibration, so again the calibrated instrument with a report from the internal laboratory. When we talk about the next thing, that is with respect to how, what are the support processes, procedures, and the methods. So it could be the production, quality, R&D, the procedures for calibration, ISO 17025 certificate, laboratory scope from external laboratory, there can be different standards or the acceptance criteria. When we talk about with what, means what kind of material or the equipment that is required. So there can be different things, say for example ISO 17025 accredited external laboratory, then maybe the master instrument for internal calibration, or maybe the kind of environment that is required for doing the in-house calibration. It could be related to temperature or humidity. Then the next is with whom, what kind of competence, skill, and training that is required. So maybe we are looking for competent inspector for the calibration process, internal laboratory scope, maybe we can define some competence requirements, say for example minimum 5 years experience in the calibration process. And then the last leg, what kind of result, what are the different performance indicators. It can be efficiency indicator or the effectiveness indicator. Now these indicators can be the number of instruments calibrated within a certain time frame, maybe the number of instruments which are not retrieved for calibration, the cost of calibration with respect to the target, and it can be the number of instruments which have failed in the calibration. So this is just one of the example with respect to the calibration process. Now one thing which is very important to understand is that when we are talking about any process and we are making a turtle, you will see that there are certain inputs which are coming from the previous process, and there will be some output which is coming out from this particular process, and these output will become an input for the next process, and in this way this entire process goes on. Now talking about some of the key benefits that an organization can get in case they make an effective and the correct turtle diagram. So first and the foremost is with respect to easy understanding of the document, because by just looking into one template we can understand about the entire process. Then second thing is it's a very easy tool for use in audit. As an internal auditor or as an external auditor, while looking into a turtle diagram, it makes things very easy to understand what are the different processes that are interacting, and very good audit trail can be made out of that. And third, it helps the organization to align the goals with the different processes. So here it is primarily with respect to the performance indicator which are related to that particular process, so that thing can be easily seen. And then lastly, and the most important thing is it helps the organization to identify what kind of different process waste are there by looking into the entire process map and understanding it completely. In the last, talking about what can be the possible industry changes which are there. First and the foremost is that how often the turtle diagram is prepared by the cross-functional team and not by just one individual sitting on the computer and making it for the entire organization. The second important thing is that we make a turtle diagram, but how often, what is the frequency of reviewing it, seeing it from time to time, that whether it is still applicable as per the present organization processes or if something has changed in that. And the third and the most important challenge is that whether the top management is serious and see that what are the benefits they are getting by making this particular document, or it is just a piece of document which is just being made to fulfill some requirement. So if I do a summary, I talked about what is turtle diagram, how it is linked with ISO 9000 and IATF standard, why we call it as a turtle diagram, whether there is any requirement of turtle diagram in ISO 9000 or IATF, then how to make a turtle diagram, and there we picked up one sample with respect to the calibration process, what are the possible benefits, and in the last I talked about what are the key challenges that industry is facing with respect to that. My next video will again be with respect to process map, but there is a different technique that is called SIPOC, S-I-P-O-C. Well, regularly I'm getting a lot of feedback from your side and they're helping me to understand your expectations, so please do continue that. And in case you're liking these kind of videos and blogs, please share with your friends and colleagues, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and my website bhavyamangla.com. Thank you.